Well, good evening, and we begin at 5 tonight with a question. What do you get when you combine a bizarre crime spree, a Coast Guard rescue, and the Goonies? An almost too strange to believe Week in S story, apparently. It all involves a caught-on-camera mission that on its own would already be incredible, but comes with a wild twist. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. I am shaking my head tonight because let us walk you through what we know right now. A Coast Guard crew was on a training mission today that suddenly turned very real when they got a Mayday call. A boat named the Sandpiper stuck in dangerous surf near the mouth of the Columbia, and a man on board needed to be rescued. A Coast Guard swimmer reached him and was helping bring him to safety. And then this happened. Wow, incredible, rolled right over, nobody on board. The Coast Guard crew lifted the man and his rescuer into a chopper and flew him back to shore for treatment. Now, here is where things take a turn toward the weird, the very weird. Astoria police say the man the Coast Guard rescued actually stole that boat, the Sandpiper, and there's more here. Earlier in the week, they added he vandalized the Goonies' house. That's him in surveillance video, leaving a dead fish on the porch, police say. Police identifying him as 35-year-old Jericho Labonte of Victoria, BC. They add that he placed stickers over surveillance camera lenses around the home. Now, on top of this, yeah, you knew there would be more. Police in Victoria say he's also wanted there for criminal harassment and mischief. We are working to get more details from the Coast Guard. We're in touch with police in Victoria, and our Alma McCarty is digging into the suspect's background here. It is a whale of a tale, maybe fish of a tale, with more than one twist. We will have the full story for you tonight on KGW News at 11. All right, we have new video tonight out of Southeast Portland that shows it takes just seconds for thieves with a crowbar to break into a comic book store. And while it is bad enough to get hit once, the owner tells us this is the third time in just the last few weeks. Despite that, the business owner says he refuses to give up, and tonight he is looking for your help to track down those burglars. Mike Benner's in the newsroom tonight. Mike, these people did a lot of damage.
Yeah, they did, David, and not just once, 3 times. And that might be a lot to handle for a big box store, but this is a family business. John and Elisa Thomas have run their shop for almost a decade. They absolutely love it. And while extremely bothered by the crime, they tell me they are not giving up.
Avengers, Captain America, Fantastic Four.
Comics, Magic the Gathering cards, and disc golf equipment is what you'll find inside Southeast Portland's Disc Heroes shop, owned and operated by John Thomas and his wife.
I call myself semi-retired. I get to do this. You don't get rich doing this, but it's what I love to do.
Even after the events of the last few weeks, Thomas says his store at 162nd and Division has been broken into not once, not twice, but 3 times since mid-January.
I think they're an organized crime ring of some sort.
The work of the organized crime ring, as Thomas calls it, was captured on security cameras mounted inside and outside the store. Thomas says over the course of the 3 break-ins, the burglars got away with a lot of inventory.
It was well over 30,000. But I don't want to give specific numbers because we're still working with the insurance companies. So it was well over 30,000 in product.
Well, I get a lot of anxiety from it, so I feel invaded. So he takes it much better than me.
This is a safe spot for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I feel very invaded.
Since the most recent break-in earlier this week, the Thomases have taken extra safety precautions, but they wonder if they need to do even more.
I have thought about sitting here overnight this next week, but not, armed or anything, just sitting here, seeing if they're going to try again.
John Thomas hopes he has seen the last of the bad guys, who he pledges won't keep him from operating the business he loves so much.
I'm not caving. That would be given into the crooks.
All right, anyone who recognizes the burglars or knows anything about the case is urged to reach out to the Portland Police Bureau. We're told detectives are investigating. In the meantime, a GoFundMe has been launched to help the Thomases recover from this. We'll post a link on our website, kgw.com. David?
What a year they have had. Thank you, Mike. Developing tonight, one person is dead after a crash on Highway 26 on the way to the coast. It is unclear how many vehicles were involved here this afternoon just west of Buxton. One person died. 2 others were taken by life flight to the hospital. The road there was closed for several hours but is now back open. We have no word yet on a cause. To big developments tonight in our homeless crisis and a new plan from Multnomah County. The county's top elected leader saying the proposal will help move people off the streets in a more humane and ultimately successful way. Tim Gordon's here now. Tim, the backdrop here, a new survey that shows while public perception of Portland and the metro area is improving, we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, right, David. And the survey found homelessness continues to be the biggest issue of concern here, with crime right behind it. So this plan from the county chair involves targeting specific areas with high concentrations of homeless camping and then taking the time to find the right solutions for moving people from the streets.
Downtown Portland has been through a lot the past few years, and part of what has caused a spike in concern about crime and safety is the desperation that comes with an ever-present homeless population. As the city and county grapple with finding the right combination of solutions, the new Multnomah County chair announced a plan that takes the time to get people into the right type of housing before clearing problem areas permanently.
And we're calling it Housing Multnomah Now, because that's really what it's about. It's about getting people who are living outside, living unsheltered, directly into housing.
Chair Jessica Vega Peterson announced the $14 million plan this week during a taping of Straight Talk with Laurel Porter. Peterson explained how she and other local leaders visited Seattle to see a similar effort where outreach workers spend weeks getting to know people and their needs to match the right kind of housing and support.
And we're going to do this in a similar way by targeting an area in the central city. We're also looking to do it in East County within this next calendar year.
This comes as the latest annual survey for the Portland Business Alliance shows a slight improvement in voter sentiment about the direction of the region from 2021 to 22. You can see those who think things are on the wrong track trended down 10 percentage points, and 8% more think we're going in the right direction. Better, but still in negative territory overall, says John Horvick with DHM Research.
Things either leveled out or improved, and we'll just have to continue to monitor and do good work as a community to see if those numbers improve or if they move in a negative direction again.
Peterson is banking on this new direct-to-housing plan being part of heading in the right direction.
It's doing it in a way that I think supplements and complements the work that we're already doing with our shelters, with alternative shelters, even with the city's proposal around the urban campgrounds.
Reference there in the end to the mayor's plan to build large sanctioned camps. Now, Vega Peterson says this plan will be in action soon, with the first of 4 months spent targeting the central city first. And in terms of ending homelessness and camping in all these areas, always a challenge for sure. The county chair says it'll take support from everyone, including private landowners, to make it work. David?
We'll be watching closely. Thank you, Tim. We've got some new information tonight on a standoff in Hood River that forced neighbors, businesses, and schools to evacuate. Police have clarified today that when this began, they got a call from a man who said his son had several guns, had firewood in their home, and was potentially dangerous. Now, when officers arrived and were talking to the man, they say his son fired shots over their heads. That is what prompted the standoff and evacuations. The suspect surrendered almost 10 hours later. Police have identified him as 42-year-old Simeon Hill. He was taken into custody, they say, and then to a medical facility.
I'm not going to stop walking, but we need to do everything we can to make our streets and sidewalks safe for pedestrians.
Well, that is Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici speaking to reporters for the first time since she was hit by a car while walking in Portland. She is still recovering, but made a point to be in Beaverton today for a big celebration. Our Cale Williams was there to get an update on a project to make that city a little bit safer.
It's only been 3 weeks since Representative Suzanne Bonamici was hit by a car while walking in a crosswalk with her husband in Northwest Portland.
I suffered a concussion. I still have a bump on my head. Hopefully you can't see it back there. I'm taking things slowly but improving.
And while she still isn't quite up to full speed, the Congresswoman was happy to be back in Oregon Friday to talk about pedestrian safety.
The recovery has been challenging, but it could have been a lot worse, and I'm grateful to be here today.
Bonamici was in Beaverton Friday morning to present Mayor Lacey Beatty with a $4 million check to help make the Beaverton Loop a safer place for people to walk and roll. The loop, which runs along Southwest Watson and Hall Streets, spans 20 blocks, 2 state highways, and crosses both railroad and Max tracks. Beatty said the train tracks in particular sometimes make it feel like the city has been split in two.
Our long-term goal is that this is seen as one district instead of a rail line that splits it, and that keeps one side of our community on one side of the track and the other side on the other.
The $4 million come from a Department of Transportation grant and an appropriation from Congress specifically aimed at community projects. The project is still in the planning stages, but I asked Beatty what pedestrians should expect once it's finished.
Well, I think what you'll expect is wide sidewalks, protected bike lanes. You're going to see tree canopy and street trees that help us reach our environmental goals.
As for Bonamici, she said the crash last month has left her a little wary.
It does kind of change the perspective.
But she has no plans to hang up her walking shoes.
I'm not going to stop walking, but we need to do everything we can to make our streets and sidewalks safe for pedestrians.
Cale Williams, KGW News.